Hi everyone, I'm up to the 8th instalment of my Epic Park videos, where I am showcasing my park build from scratch of what I hope will be a very realistic theme park in Rollercoaster Tycoon Classic. Last time, I built a seaside inspired area on the lakeside beach, and now I'm filling the gap between the lake and the front of the park. I'm currently adding a maze, and shortly I'll begin work on a medieval themed area centred around a castle, kind of similar to what we have in the Crazy Castle scenario. First though, let's get a thrill ride to go alongside the gentle maze and the spiral coaster across the way, which I'll show you in a moment. We don't yet have a launched freefall in this park, and as it's already got a nice building around it, I'll take the escape hatch direct from the build menu, the first time I've used a pre-built design since I opened this park with Mango Muncher. But to reduce the intensity, I'll shave a bit off the top and reduce the launch speed. So I have now completed the front quarter of the park, although I'll remove some of the empty space behind that new spiral coaster by adding a few trees. So about that spiral coaster. It's a simple coaster and fairly basic in layout, and it fits the gap between the lake and the front of the park nicely. Here's a ride through from the top of the lift hill. Pretty solid stats for a spiral coaster and a nice new addition to the park. Now you may have noticed I've added that castle area behind the maze and escape hatch, so let's show you how I got there. I had a huge amount of space in that bottom corner of the park. I then began work on the outer perimeter of the castle, including a moat, drawbridge and commoners living area outside the castle. I'll just be building the castle perimeter here and leaving the centre to fill with rides, but this is how the front looks. I won't bore you with watching me place castle walls, but as I complete the castle fronting, I had a bit of an iPad storage issue and managed to lose the next bit of recording. So, as if by magic, I now have a car ride called Castle Dungeons, which, as you might expect, is designed to venture down into the castle dungeons and is surrounded by castle walling. There's also a stand-up coaster called the Rookery, which I'll test later to save on running costs while I continue to build out the rest of my castle area. Next up, I'm going to build a very old school wooden reverser coaster. We'll begin at height and then climb further before a gradual descent with the ride turning in, out and under itself, with a couple of reverser sections along the way of course. I got to work on my next ride for the area, a water splash, and completed the walling along with a moat at the back of the castle, before concluding this area with a go-karts ride. Now, I must apologise for the hurried nature of this video. As mentioned, I did lose some of the recordings as I made this castle area of the park, so here's an overview of what we have. Starting with the castle dungeons, which, now everything is in place, creeps above 3 for excitement. It travels around the inner walls of the castle and has a small underground section too. Then we have the Rookery, a stand-up coaster which has proved very popular. I hired a night-dressed entertainer to keep the queuing guests happy while they wait. When they do get on board, they climb high before a steep initial drop. Let's follow its journey. So, very intense but also a good excitement rating and a very popular ride so far. In front of it we have the one-lap go-karts, and then opposite is the reverser roller coaster, which I reconfigured slightly, but here it is in action. It hits high excitement and intensity and is another popular new ride. You'll have noticed splash boats just in front of the reverser coaster. It's quite a long ride, but over 6.5 excitement, and this one travels out of the castle, over the moat and back again. So that's the castle area. And finally, for this shorter than usual edition, I filled in the very bottom corner of the park by extending the Roman area with more scenery, a twist, which is the second in the park, a circus, and a Roman fountain on top of the hill, which connects back to the main pathway and over to the front of the medieval area, which now has some food and drink stands there. So the front half of the park is now complete. My thoughts for the back: I'll have some much larger themed areas. I'm thinking a Jurassic jungle to the far left, and on the right a snow themed area up there on the hilltops, and then maybe a space themed area in front of that. Hopefully next time I'll be able to show you the build in full. Thanks for watching.